Alright, Super Dave here with another exciting review. We're actually going to look at another Fortnite character called the Visitor. Now again, I will, full disclosure, have not as of yet played a lot of Fortnite personally. So I don't know a lot about these characters, but this one was very intriguing to me. Look at all the accessories, 40 points of articulation, really? That's going to be interesting to find out. But there's the package right there. There's a picture of the Visitor, and he has several front plate masks, and I'm assuming that's because that mask must be like a screen, a digital screen, and so based on how he's communicating or what he's saying, those symbols and pictures change on that mask because he comes with 4 different mask plates, face plates, and then some other selling points. So let's crack him open and check out this guy. He's a little shorter than the other Fortnite line. This is called the Legendary series, so he's a little shorter, but we're gonna find out. Okay, so here's the Visitor figure out of the package, and I'm already being able to tell there's a lot of cool articulation that's going on, a lot of cool paint apps and details that are included with this amazing Fortnite figure. Now, one thing I will mention right off hand is Carbide and Omega were made by McFarlane Toys, and this particular action figure is 6 inches where they were 7 inches. This figure is made by Jazwares. It says on the box that this is the Legendary series. Now, both boxes, this one and that one, said Epic Games, but this is Jazwares, while the others were made by McFarlane. Now, I can't see any huge difference as far as quality of plastic or paint apps. I think they're fairly well matched there, but this one definitely has more articulation, and we'll look at that in just a minute. First of all, let's look at accessories that the Visitor comes with. The first accessory is, it looks like some kind of potion or some kind of container, maybe an energy pod of some sort, or some blue and green and silver plastic. There's no holes or tabs on it anywhere, but that's an interesting device right there that he comes with. Maybe some kind of energy pod. Now, I mentioned before we opened the figure that he comes with 4 masks. Of course, you see the one he's wearing there. And then he also comes with this one. And then this one that looks like almost a grid. And then this one that almost looks like some kind of face, alien face almost there. And we'll try those on a little bit later on. And then, interesting enough, and those of you who play Fortnite recognize this, but he's got some kind of healing pack, health, I imagine, replacing first aid kit is what we call that little. It's got the little. It doesn't open, but it does have a hole through it. So we'll see what that's about later. Of course, he's got this tool here. Some kind of digging axe. Also could be used as a weapon. And then, of course, the Visitor comes with a machine gun, an old style machine gun. So that's pretty typical of this line. And then last but not least, he comes with this really cool looking backpack. You cannot close that door. It looks like in the package, when you're looking at this in the package in the store, it looks like you could close it. Looks like a hinge, a lot of detail there, a lot of good paint apps, but you cannot close that. It's just for looks. But it has a tab, and of course, the Visitor has a hole in his back, so he will be able to put that on. But we'll look at that in the review booth. So let's go over there and check out these accessories on this particular action figure, the Visitor, by Jazwares, this Fortnite figure, and his intentions are unknown. All right, here's the Visitor, and get a full 360 look at him. A lot of neat things going on here. We'll try on his accessories and check out his articulation here. First thing that I want to do is just show the difference, the biggest difference between this so-called legendary series and the other ones is, of course, his height. You see that he measures in just above 6 inches, maybe 6 1/4, exactly 6 1/4. And so that's a difference, because if we look at him, let's go ahead and compare here beside, let's say, Omega by McFarlane Toys, and of course taking in consideration that Omega is standing on his base, so we'll measure him from the base, from the feet rather, up. See, he's just over 7, I'm sorry, just at 7 inches, just at 7 inches. So you see the difference between the McFarlane Fortnite toys. Now they still fit in. It looks like the Visitor is just shorter, is what it comes across as. Not necessarily a major difference. Matter of fact, let me sit him on the base there and show you. You know, he just would be shorter. I mean, his other attributes, head, chest, legs, feet, fit in good there. So that's not a huge big deal, and that's what I felt like when I purchased him. I said, you know what, he's just shorter. I mean, there's some people taller than other people, and so that's the way I view this particular line anyway. The only bad thing about it is, me personally, is that all of this line, legendary line, is shorter. So that's going to create some issues possibly if you wanted to go, you know, with a lot of these characters, which I'm not that interested in all of them, just the ones that kind of fit in with the motif I'm looking for my stories, Masters of the Universe stories and He-Man stories eventually. Right now we're on Gray Skull if you're following the Motu Classics diorama stories. But let's look at our Visitor's articulation. So I want to zoom back out here just for a moment, and the first thing that we want to notice is that he has very limited head mobility. You can see he can't look up at all. It hits the back of his collar, a lot of detail to this helmet, which is nice. And then he's able to look down about that much, and that's it. It's like it's on a ball joint with a hinge, kind of like the Marvel Legends and even the Hasbro Power Rangers Shadow Ranger that we looked at, but not near the amount of range of motion. Of course, he can look from side to side. And then shoulders, you got these shoulder pads on a hinge, so they can get out of the way. You've got the ability to go just about all the way up with that hinge there. You have bicep swivel as well as shoulder swivel. And here's another interesting thing, you have a butterfly joint. So that's nice, butterfly joint. And of course, he can go a full 360. And then you have double jointed elbows, but you only get a 90 degree. So you don't get a big jump in range of motion. Now here's something interesting. He not only has a hinged wrist on this and swivel, of course, but even has hinged fingers. So let me zoom in here and let you see these hinged fingers here. Is open and then closed. So you see that's part of that 40 points of articulation would be included, would include those hinged fingers. Now, he does not get a forearm swivel of any kind, but again, you can turn that, and you can do bicep swivel as well as shoulder. Shoulders wanting to move, but you do have independent bicep swivel. There's another articulation that they're counting, and of course the butterfly joint, and all of those are great. I mean, I like that. Same thing on this side. It goes up, and they're very tight. It ratchets, if you can hear that. Then you have butterfly joint there, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that only get 90 degrees. You have hinged at the wrist, and you have those hands that open and close, and of course tilt and swivel. And so these shoulder pads getting out of the way are very neat. The fact that they're on a hinge, that's very neat. Got a little symbol here, so that is definitely neat. Then you have that very nice rib cage, diaphragm, ball joint. You see very good range of motion there. Can crunch forward, back, sideways. Can almost swivel all the way around. Don't think that there is a waist swivel. If there is one, actually there is. It's there. It's just that, yeah, you do have a waist swivel, but it's just hard to get it because this turns. But if you grab that with your thumb, you can feel under that belt there is a brake. So that's pretty cool. And then you have legs or ball joint. You can get a full split there. You also have thigh cut, and you can get almost a full seat, even though it does spread out a little bit, but you can hardly go back at all. It hits his gluteus maximus there, and he can't go back very far. But let's go to his double jointed knees. Very good knee motion there. Get all the way that way. That's how far those will go. Let's do this one. So that goes a long ways there. That's nice. Nice knee, double jointed knees. That's 2 points for each knee of articulation. And these feet are all over the place, but you see you do have a boot cut there. Not only do you have a thigh cut, that's an articulation, but also a boot cut right there. And then of course you can get a good range of motion back and forth, and also and you have to turn it a certain way. You're also going to get excellent foot pivot on both sides. So again, just looking at it from the side here, you have boot cut. This goes up and down. Then you're going to have foot pivot at the ankle. And even, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it to the side here. You even have a toe hinge. So there's another point of articulation. So this guy is just stacked with articulation. Everything's kind of tight, and it's hard to maneuver these feet somewhat because there's so much articulation in some areas. But overall, I think it works as far as you're going to be able to get him in some really good poses, of course, and we'll see that in just a few moments. He has this thing here, which some of you that played the game may know what that is, on his coming out of his wrist there. But these feet are a little bit difficult to somewhat get posed because there's so much motion and movement there. And even the McFarlane Fortnite toys had a similar situation with weak joints at the feet. So that's just interesting that carries over even in this one of a different branded toy, Jazwares. But the feet are loose, so it's easy for him to fall a little bit. But you can get him in, you still can get him stabilized if you balance everything out. All right, let's look at him with his backpack. He's got his backpack, and you can plug that right into the back of his hole there. That's really neat. That looks nice. It's kind of cool. It's almost like a cape now that comes down there, and you can kind of see that a little bit from the side, like a cape. And then he also has the ability, as I was saying earlier, you can pop off these mask pieces. I want to try this one on. This one looks really cool, and I'll show you. Let me zoom in here and just show you. There's even these little indentions here in this section here, in this section here, back in there, and you see the cutout, the depth of that, the little silver tabs that pop into those spots to allow that mask to fit and plug in just like a puzzle. And I like that mask probably the best. Go ahead and look at all of those while we're zoomed in here. This one that looks kind of like a grid, I guess this is when he's trying to map out his GPS, where he's headed. Maybe it turns into a grid and he's trying to figure out where he's going. Kind of a blank expression, just assuming there. And this almost looks like eyes that have been X'd out. I wonder if that's when he's dead, when he's died. I don't know. Or maybe that's when he's killed somebody else, or he's eliminated somebody else. But there's that mask. I'm going to put my personal favorite one, just for now, back on him here. And that's this one here. It looks kind of like almost an alien face of some sort. I like that. That looks neat. All right, going back to his accessories, of course, there's his pickaxe. A lot of detail on this axe. Check that out. It's like silver, worn, grinded down, rusted, you know, just scarring, age. Just a lot of neat details. They put a lot of black wash in there. It's just really neat. It actually looks like real iron. The rivets there and the handle, the workings there of that looks like real iron, and then the handle. There's just a lot of neat stuff going on here. Even the screws you can see there. Just really neat pickaxe that he's got. And then of course again the little first aid kit here. And then this, I don't know where this attaches or how this would work, but he's got some kind of potion or some kind of power pack here, energy pack. Then again his machine gun, fit that in his hand here, since we're looking at articulation as our main thing here, looking at this moment. The fact that okay, so look, you got that pointer finger going in his trigger area there, and it fits pretty good. You can see the problem I'm having. It's not going in perfectly. Maybe if you close in, okay, there we go, close that in a little bit. Let's swivel that bicep in and then see if we can open that hand on this side and kind of get a balance there. Still got that trigger, whoop, the trigger finger came out on this side. So I don't know, this is not functioning as you might think. Almost got it there. Let's see if we got it somewhat there now to give it a look. There we go. That's working better. Those hinges, you just have to work with them like anything else. Be patient. And the reason I say it don't work quite as you might think, or ideally as you would think, is because that hinge keeps flopping, and he comes out of the pointer finger, comes out of the trigger area, but this really works neat. That looks good. I think that's going to work. It's going to work excellent. I like that backpack that he sports. Let me see if I can fix his feet again. His feet look like he's going to fall because they're so loose. But there, let's see if we can spin him around. There we go. I like that look. He's looking good. It's a neat looking backpack. I like that fan back there, the detail in that, those hoses, just a lot of neat stuff going on there. And I think he's going to fit in really good with this line of characters that I'm building here, with our Shadow Ranger, and now the Visitor here by Fortnite. And of course there's Ant-Man in his quantum suit, and there's Carbide, and there's our Ava. Oh! And there is Omega, and then my custom, I call him Roboto from Masters of the Universe, even though that's a different body there. But anyway, that's a Roboto head. But there's some, I think these fit in good together and work good together. They're going to be able to be a part of a storyline of robots or robot building men. And I think the Visitor here might come into play there. I don't know if he'll be a robot, or I might play like he is some kind of man that has some kind of special visor with computer abilities. Kind of like Google glasses, but to a whole nother level. Very neat, very neat. So there he is. So let's look at some poses.